What's going on, family? This is your boy D coming right back at you with some more true fighting game talk. And what I want to holler about today is basically, the whole frustrating rage quitting fiasco. Now, of course, a lot of people think that, when someone rage quits on them, it's probably because they don't want to lose their rank position, or probably because the other person that rage quitting on you is salty or some stuff like that. But there's really something else about the whole frustrating rage quitting thing that I don't think people really don't understand about it, other than what I just mentioned. Now, what I just mentioned is true about rage quitting, but there is something deeper to it that many people don't really realize. Now, everybody can agree the whole rage quitting thing, yeah, it's a jerk move to all fighting games. But to a certain extent, it does somewhat depend on which type of fighting game that you're playing, that it can be an even more bigger issue, if that makes any sense. But I mean, we're not going to call out any fighting games like that. But the whole thing with the whole rage quitting thing is that when it gets done on you, it is an absolute tough pill to swallow. Now, getting into it, I was just not too long ago just a victim of someone rage quitting on me. And this wasn't even a promo match or anything like that. This was just more of the type of rage quit where my opponent was just getting beat, and then it was just like, okay, he just said fuck it and just, disconnected his line. Now, of course, after the rage quit had happened, I was frustrated, upset, and I was shitty, because the thing about it is, when you're in a type of a match like that, and if it's a grind out match like that, you're having momentum, you're all in your structure, you got everything on point, man, you're gonna get heated, and then all of a sudden they rage quit on you. And there's really nothing you can do about it other than, just to wait until you get the next match. So of course I wait into the lobby until the server gives me my next opponent. And when the server gives me my next opponent going into that match, that's when I realize when the real reason of the rage quitting effect really kicked in. Now, need I remind you, the start of my next match happened about 6 or 7 minutes right after when I was a victim of rage quitting. And 30 seconds into my new match, I realized what was going on. Number one, I was getting my ass kicked because from a mental standpoint, my mind was still pretty much in the rage quit match. You know what I'm saying? And the reason for that is when you don't complete a match, that is like, that's like a cut of a cord. That's like a cut of an electrical cord. It's just not gonna work. And that's what the real rage quitting thing did, especially to me. It was a cut cord of rhythm. It was a cut cord of consistency of execution. That all got jacked up for me while I was in the next match. Now, granted, physically I was ready. I was ready for my next opponent. But, from a mental standpoint, rhythm standpoint, I kind of realized that's what the whole rage quitting thing actually does. And another thing about when I was a victim of the rage quit, it did a lot of psychological damage as well. Now, I'm not saying it was like, it didn't put any doubts in my head or nothing like that I couldn't win or nothing like that. But what it did was, like, when it happened, when you don't complete a match, whether you win or lose, and you don't have that satisfaction of pulling out the victory, or when you don't have that satisfaction of losing, when neither of that happens, I think one of the things that it does is that, like, say for instance, if I would have lost that match to the rage quitter, at least I would have had a more tighter grip on focus in my next match. I would have been like, okay, I lost this match. I don't want to lose 2 in a row. I would have had more focus. Now, if I would have came out with the victory, would have been like, okay, I won this match. Now it's time to put this match behind me. I did this, did that. I learned from this and learned from that. And then I would go into the next match. And when that person rage quitted on me, he took both experience away from me. I know it sounds kind of odd, but it's the truth. He took both experiences away from me, because if I would have lost to him, I would have, picked up some pointers on what mistakes that I made or anything like that. And then, of course, he took the victory away, which is like, well, that was kind of like when he took the victory away, it was kind of like, what would have happened? He could have had a comeback, or was I doing something that I should not have been doing? even to get that victory, what was I doing right? I didn't even know necessarily what I was doing right against him because he rage quitted on me and I wasn't able to analyze it. So that rage quitter took both experiences from me where I couldn't learn from that match, and then also I just didn't get the victory. So it was kind of like, you know, it was almost like a counter saltiness. It causes saltiness from both sides, even though you didn't have anything to do with that person pulling the plug on you. And that's what I learned about this whole rage quitting thing. It can be a very nasty psychological tool that players can use on you, not just to troll you per se, or it's really because, you know, you can bring it into the next match. That psychological downfall from it, you can definitely bring it into the next match. And I was clearly a victim of it. And then I was also, you know, I let it get to me to where I brung it into the next match to the point where psychologically, I still can't believe it happened. My mind was still in that pulling of the cord, and it led me into losing my next match. As a matter of fact, I actually lost my next 3 matches because of that, because of the severity of the rage quit. So psychologically, man, it is a dangerous weapon that a lot of these players like to use. But as I said before, there is really nothing we can do when a person rage quits on us like that. We just simply have no control over that. But there are a couple of things that we can do to prevent something like that if it happens to us, not to psychologically carry it into our next match to where you can have a momentum downfall or anything like that. Because me personally, I figured when the person rage quitted on me, I felt the need that I had to jump right back into the next match. I was that heated and that frustrated to where, okay, I got to get back into the next match quickly, and it ended up not turning out good for me because, like I said, I kept losing matches afterwards. So I kind of figured if a sucky experience like that were to ever happen to me again, I would probably, instead of just jumping into the next match, I would probably take like a 20, 25, maybe even a half-hour break from that game, just to clear my thoughts, just to make sure it just doesn't carry into the next match, especially for a dedicated player like myself who loves to play. You know, I wouldn't want that to happen to anybody else like that, to where they're dedicated, they're trying to get better, then they all of a sudden run into a rage quitter, and then they just fuck up the total experience for you, probably for that whole day, by pulling the plug on you, and then you're going into matches all discombobulated. So to me, I would personally take about a 20 to 25, maybe 30-minute break from that game, probably go to another game or come back into it, make sure my thoughts are clear, make sure, you know, get that frustration out of me. Now, if it's one of those situations where someone rage quitted on you and also was talking shit to you in the mic, that's another thing. You know, you probably just want to take a little break from the game, because that can spill over to the next matches, and it's not going to be a very good experience. So that's my whole take on the whole, rage quitting thing that's been talked about and that's been going on. And like I said, with my experiences with it, it's really psychological. Now, we all know people do it because they're salty. You're beating them and then they pull the plug on you, or promotion match or whatever. But it's a psychological thing. When people do that to you, it's like they're trying to mess you up in the head. They're trying to mess your focus up, your determination. That's the real reason behind rage quitting. Yeah, it's because they're salty, but when that player does that to you, they're thinking to themselves, oh, you know what? This is what I'm going to do to this guy. I'm going to just totally fuck up his rhythm, and then in the next match, he's just going to get his ass kicked because he's going to be so shitty that I did this to him. And that's what a lot of these players out there are really thinking when they rage quit on you. So if you become a victim of that, just be extra careful not to let that shit linger into the next match. So let me know your thoughts and your feelings and some comments in the comment section below. If you have been a victim of rage quitting, let me know how you handled it. This is your boy D all the way G. Thank y'all for watching. I honestly hope y'all enjoyed. And until the next time, much love to y'all all, and God bless. I am out. Peace.